Hi everyone, Frankie here at New West Reset. Hello. So yeah, today we're going to be checking out this really cool old courthouse building. So stick around, be right back to have a closer look. Okay, so here we are. We are at the corner of 7th Avenue and 5th Street Southwest. And as you can see there, we're looking at this beautiful old court building. It's formerly the Court of Appeal for Alberta. This is actually known as Calgary Courthouse number 2. Number 1 used to be there where this big giant monstrosity is, which was a wooden 2-story courthouse that the city quickly outgrew. So then they purchased the land here and bought this, and built this, and once this was finished, they tore down the old building. And then that was, I can't even remember what this spot was for a while, but now this is now the new courthouse, technically number 3. You can see it's a big, massive skyscraper. But we're not concerned with that ugly thing. We're looking at this beauty here. And first thing I'm noticing right off the bat is that front door looks a little bit stumpy, looking a little squat there at the front door. And of course you gotta go up 11.4 million stairs to get to it. And then it's surrounded by really low windows all the way around. So yeah, let's kind of shoot around this thing all directions, front, back, side to side, have a closer look at some of the details. It's a beautiful, beautiful old building made out of locally sourced sandstone is the narrative on this thing. I can't remember what the year they say this was built, but I know there's a plaque over, there's a park over here, and there's a plaque there that gives some information, so we'll check that out as well. By the way, my friend Vincent and I were here, a couple of months ago now, at tail end of summertime, and we did a walk around. We did a meetup and did a walk around of this thing and had some lunch, and then a guy screwed up. I screwed up with the footage and stuff and wasn't able to upload it, so I had to come back. And it's now winter, as you can see from the snow on the ground. It's not too terribly cold today. It's about -2 or -3 Celsius, which is around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So, you know, it's not the best, but it's not terrible. Last week was -20 Celsius, which is -1 billion Fahrenheit or something like that. So it was really cold. Too cold to go out and do any boots on the ground footage. So today, blue skies, sun is shining, and it's not too bad. So let's start at the front, I guess, because place as any to have a look at this thing. Big, beautiful wooden door. Well, it's big from side to side, but again, looking kind of stumpy. Nice glass above there. Alberta coat of arms carved in sandstone. Again, this thing made of locally carved sandstone. Not super fancy, but some nice details here with some columns or pillars and neat little architectural designs here, and then the sawtooth or dogtooth detail on the top there. Kind of dig the old light fixtures. Kind of reminds me of like old movies when you see in front of an old police station, those old lights, you know. It's kind of neat. The front stairs are made of a different material. There's a train going by. That's our light rail transit. We used to have an electric streetcar system here back starting in the 1890s until about the 1940s. Then they got rid of it and put in buses and stuff. And then in the 80s they added a electric streetcar back into the transit system again. Why not just use the old streetcars and trolleys you already had? Anyway, I digress. So the stairs here, made of a different material. You can see crumbling, disrepair, shoddy, crappy job. But again, wooden door, brass inlays in the door. It's kind of a nice little detail. Get a closer look at some of the detail on the lights there. Kind of neat. And one of the things I remember about this thing, which is a little suspicious, and it's always a red flag of, you know, why do you have to go up so many stairs to get into the main entrance? Not very convenient, especially at a time of limited resources and limited funds. The narrative on this was when it was built at the time, it was the most expensive building built in Alberta. So, with all of that said, you know, it's, I don't know, it just strikes me as odd that you would have to go up all these stairs to get to that door, and that door looks really stumpy, when the red flag, as I said, is that, well, why? Why do all that when there's a door right here? There's a door at ground level that is basically kind of accessed from under the stairs, or almost from under the stairs. So that doesn't make any sense. I'm thinking that underneath the stairs here was a main entrance door, or maybe this door was way taller, you know, like those really big, huge, opulent looking doors we see that are 15, 20 feet high or what have you. I suspect that perhaps that was the case. But yeah, kind of hanky and janky. So you can see two different types of finishes on the sandstone here. We've got this rough hewn textured sandstone, and then the smoothed out stuff here. That's something that they'll do often. Really low windows all the way around this thing. Still have the wooden window frames and jambs and everything in all of the windows. But because it's a, you know, a federal building, it's well funded to be maintained, so it's in not too bad a shape. You can see how that sandstone goes right down, shooting right down into the ground there, and the windows are getting eerily close to being in that same situation, really low. Not quite underground, but really low. Why you would build that when obviously we have, or build that way when obviously we have snow, and this is only a small scattering of snow of what we'll get. We'll get a couple of feet here by the time winter's in full swing, right? So we've got another side entrance here off of 5th Street, flanked by a couple of low windows. I want to say they maybe blocked in one here, because you have windows above here and here, and then the lower window, but there aren't low windows underneath every one of the larger windows. You can see they've done some repair there to the sandstone foundation. The problem with building with sandstone is it doesn't last. It's a very soft form of stone. So as a result, it's a constant fight with maintaining it. I see a bunch of windows up there, but then again, I want to say that maybe some of these were closed in or blocked in after the fact. Keep going here. So apparently the story was too that holding cells for the criminals on trial were down in this basement level, which always seemed odd to me, because if you were part of a, I don't know, cattle rustling gang, and one of the members of your gang was being held for, you know, to go on trial for cattle rustling or whatever, the rest of the gang could just bust him out of there. So at the back here, you can see there's a staircase going down, which is odd. And this is sort of an afterthought build. This was sort of built after the initial structure, I want to say, because you can see the remnants of a blocked-in window here that they've had to cover in order to facilitate building this, which has access to those lower floors. This is basically a stone version of a shack at the back that we see, where they've had to retrofit in some kind of entrance to get into the lower level from outside the building. And again, to me, that's always a red flag, and potentially a good example of a mudflood building. I mean, why would you have to access the lower floors from outside when really you should just have stairs going down into what they're calling the basement from inside the building? So there's one here and another one down there as well. We'll have a look at in a second. You can see here, again, not super fancy, but a lovely sandstone structure with, again, behind these bushes, lots of low windows. There's another remnant of a window underneath this one. It's been blocked in with that stone so they could build this thing. Behind these bushes, all really low windows. Security risks, so of course they got to put bars on them. which again seems sort of antithetical. Yep, there's another remnant. I don't know if you can see that. I'll get in close. The light isn't the best. I'm in the shadows here, but there we go. So you can see again a blocked in window so that they could build this thing. And then here's that other sort of shack at the back, wooden shack, entrance, access. Go up a couple steps here. And again, some more evidence of a window that's no longer in use to facilitate this thing. Sorry about it's a little extra shaky cam today. It's still chilly, especially in the shade. So our guy is kind of cold. Get into the sunlight, it'll be a bit better. But you can see all around this big, beautiful building. Really low windows. And of course you got to build stairs in front of one of the windows, or partially obscuring one of the windows, because that makes a lot of sense. So you can see, I just noticed the banister railing for this staircase is wood. Huh. You can see lots of different heights of entrances. Some below ground, some a couple of steps up, some, 12 steps up. So it's very higgledy-biggledy, as they will say. Who says that? I don't know. People say it. I've heard it. There's another window that would be partially obscured by these stairs. Looks like they're working on it. I don't know what they're doing. But those stairs are in rough shape. Looks like it's made out of crappy particle board or something. That's not a way to build, especially in Canada where you have that snow. Nice job, dummies. Now, this whole area here is now a city park. It's quite beautiful, especially in the summer. So they've added a water feature and benches and concrete and stuff. So they've paved right up to this. But you can see that there is a slight slope regardless. And, that stone goes below this new pavement. So what lies beneath there? Who knows? Another floor or 5 feet, 8 feet? Not really sure. Come around to this side. Oh, of course, they got to have utilities and J-pipes coming out of the old windows. Always another sign that lots of retrofitting was done after the fact in these old buildings. I'm going to get a bit of a glare here. Sorry about that, but I want to check out this display here, which I missed the last time I was here, and Vincent pointed it out to me. So thanks again to my buddy Vincent. This is actually apparently above, this is sandstone carving that was above the old #1 courthouse, the wooden courthouse that I said was just on the other side of this building. So this apparently was above the door, part of the arched doorway with the fancy carving, sandstone carving. Now they've had to do a little bit of concrete in here, patchwork, because again sandstone it erodes very, very quickly, very easily. Wind, moisture, and then most especially snow and ice, right? Then the plaque here, I don't know how well you'll be able to read that or see it. I'll try to hold it still, and if you want to pause that, check it out. But in 1888 was the original courthouse, and now up until 1915, and then they started construction on this in 1915. So yeah, there you go, very interesting. So try to get in tight on this carving here, so you can see. So this is carved, it's not poured concrete, this is actual sandstone here. You can see that they were able to get in quite tight here and get some pretty good detail on this thing, just from it being carved. There's the Alberta wild rose. So I don't know what the representation of some of these carvings and images are, fruit or something to do with agriculture. Alberta very agriculturally oriented as far as our economy, you know, cattle and farms and ranches and so on. So yeah, very nice piece. Like I said, they've had to do some patchwork and repairs on it. I don't think there's much of interest on the back. Yeah, it's just a big plain sandstone slab on the back side of it. But yeah, really cool looking. Thanks again to Vincent for pointing that out so I could actually catch it this time. So I think what I'll do now is head back around to the front and take one more kind of wide shot and then sort of wrap things up here for this one. So hang tough, I'll be right back. All right, so we are back. One last parting shot. It's a pretty good sized building too, you know. Takes up about a half of a city block. So for that time period, with the population as low as it was a pretty substantial building. A little bit of the old text still remaining there on the top. But anyways, I think that is going to seal the deal here today for the old courthouse, New West reset. So do me a favor and let me know what you think down below. If you could just kind of beep boop pop it in the comments there for me, that'd be great. Of course, do all the other YouTube stuff. And until the next one, have a good one. All right? Cheers.